How's it going, guys? Welcome to Millennial Gamer. I'm your host, James, and a very happy 2025 to you. It's a new year, so I had to do a New Year's vlog because that's what you do as a YouTuber, apparently. So I did want to bring out this video earlier, but was so busy over the Christmas period and then the New Year period that it was New Year's Day is my birthday, and it's all crazy. So basically, I'm doing it now. It's happening right now. Essentially, what I want this video to be is kind of like a retrospective of the year we just had in Millennial Gamer, which for me was pretty good year, and looking ahead to the future and sort of going over a couple of changes that have happened on the channel right here. First of all, if you've been watching the videos lately, you'll notice that the setup is all weird and all a bit strange. I'm in this corner of the video rather than this corner of the video now, which is nice because that's the corner you're supposed to be in, apparently. But in those videos that I've been doing, which I'll talk about what I've been recording lately, the background has been dull and boring and lifeless and grey. That has been rectified, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see behind me, I have this gorgeous, awesome Vice City print, which it isn't a print. It is actually, I don't know if you can even see that on camera, really. It's a bath mat. That's right, you heard properly. A bath mat, as in a mat you put on the floor after you get out of the shower, after you get out of the bath for your wet feet. Now, it looks far too nice for me to be putting my horrible wet feet on it. So I just hung it up because it's really nice. It's super vivid. I'm going to get more lights, hopefully, and I'm looking at getting some LEDs to shine on top of it to make it sort of sparkle out and have pink and purple, you know, the cool colours, to have it sort of come out. I've done a couple more things to the back wall. Excuse me. I've done a couple more things to the back wall. I'll probably put a picture to the back wall somewhere up here. It's lacking in LEDs at the moment, and I want it to have like pretty lights going over it. But yeah, now the background looks a bit more interesting, minus the Beavis and Butthead, which are going to be not really making an appearance. I do have some pops right here, if you can see them. I have Daniel Fortescue from Medieval. I have Crash Bandicoot, and the other one is Spyro the Dragon. So yeah, they're resting on top of my Go Light here. This is my Beavis and Butthead that I got for Christmas, which is very nice. Yeah, so the back wall is starting to look a lot nicer now. Also, for anyone who's been watching the channel for any length of time, the camera is now in a better position. It's in a more raised position, as it was right up in my face. It was right next to me, and I just wasn't feeling the vibe. I've changed the whole setup of the room. I'm going to get rid of this horrible minging curtain at some point because it's just really rank to look at. I just want a nice black curtain. I'm going to put something on the wall here to make that look nice as well. But it's a process. We're building, you know what I mean? But yeah, I've changed the whole setup. Like, I'm doing a whole new thing. It's a whole change up. I used to have the setup used to actually be on that wall with the camera facing this way. But I've optimized the room. It's a very small, pokey room, but I've optimized the room, and everything just feels a bit better now. Well, hopefully it feels a bit better. I've not really recorded any gaming videos properly with it yet, not with all the back stuff anyway, but yeah, so that's basically the state of it. I've done a rejig of everything. Now, I'm going to mention this now, but I'll probably mention it throughout the video and definitely at the end of the video. But this has been a really good year for the channel. A really good year. I've experimented with some new stuff. I've played some great games. I've had some cool ideas. I've thrown out some stuff which we'll talk about in the video. But it's been a really good year because I've had some really good support from people. And I just want to give a massive shout out and thank you to literally anyone and everyone who's left a lovely comment, left me a like on a video, gave me a share, gave me some recommendations. I've had lots of interaction this year, and I'm so grateful for that kind of thing. You know, it's important for me to build a community. I'm trying to be quicker at getting on the replies, but, you know, I do work a day job as well as having to edit these videos and record them and playing Dungeons & Dragons 3 times a week, so I'm a busy bee. But I just want to say thank you so much for all the support, the interaction, the likes, the comments, everything that anyone has given me this year, because it's been, in terms of interaction and support, this has been my best year so far. And I only want to grow from there. I only want to grow and go up and up and up and up and build our community. That's what I want to do. Our community I want to build, not mine. Our, you know? So I'm not going to say it a lot in my videos, and you know this if you saw the previous vlog. I'm not going to ask you to like and share and comment and subscribe in the videos, so I'm going to do it right now. If you want to support this channel, if you love retro gaming, if you love classic gaming, if you love the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2 and that kind of late 90s, early 2000s vibe, then you should definitely subscribe. Hit the notification bell to stay notified on all the videos that are going to come out. Leave me a comment, give me a share. If you've seen a video on the channel that you want to share to a friend or a relative or something that you used to play these games with back in the day, it would help me a lot. It helps grow the channel, it helps grow the support and the community, and it is 100% free to do. So I'm going to ask you now, if this is something you're interested, only if you're interested in it, hit subscribe, click the notification button, leave me a like on a video, super helpful. But do you know what? That's enough of that. No more. On the videos, at the end of the videos, I don't ask for like and subscribe. I just tell you to check out other videos on the channel. Because let's be honest, actually watching the video is the most paramount and the most important thing I would like you to do. Whew. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's actually have a look at what 2024 looked like for your boy Jimbo here, right here on Millennial Gamer. Let's go from the end of the previous year, 2023. I was playing Sonic Superstars. As these come up, I'm gonna leave a bunch of footage to the games that's somewhere around the space here. But yeah, we were playing Sonic Superstars, and it was a really good game, really enjoyed it, and it had a classic feel to Sonic, but nothing can compare to those classic games. It's hard to recreate. I thought they did a good job, however, that final boss can absolutely do one. But that was December of that year. Let's move on in to January. One of the first games I played in January was an absolute curveball, a game that I've been wanting to get to, a game that's close to my heart, and a game that nobody knows about, nobody raves about. It's not got good Metacritic scores or whatever the hell, right? It is a game that I just grew up with and fell in love with, and it was perfect for me at the time. The game in question is Action Man Mission Xtream, or it's got another name in other regions, but I know it as Action Man Mission Xtream. I might leave some artwork, but I'll definitely be leaving footage to the game. It's a game that nobody talks about, and I absolutely adore. I was massively into Action Man when I was a kid. I had a whole collection of Action Men. I had cars, and all from like second-hand car boot sales and stuff like that, but I had so many Action Men. I had accessories, I had the car, I had the glider, I had the roller skates, I had the Dr. X, I had the gangrene, and he had like goo in his chest. So that game came out at the perfect time for me because I was in the throes of loving Action Man. So when that game came out, I'd never played anything like Metal Gear Solid, which it kind of is sort of aping a little bit. But yeah, it's a game that nobody talks about. I absolutely loved and I really enjoyed playing on the channel. You should definitely check it out. Just going to quickly say here, any of the videos that I talk about, any of the series that I've played on the channel, all of them will be in the description below. Anything I talk about in the video here will be in the description below. So if you do want to check out anything from that, just click one of the links down there. Just going to move Beavis and Butthead out of the way because they're going to get elbowed otherwise because I'm kind of swinging wildly here. Moving on, still in January at this point, one of the goals I wanted to accomplish with the channel in 2024 was completing a game I'd never completed and I absolutely adored, never got the chance to complete it, and this was the perfect time for it. The game in question is Final Fantasy XII. I began playing it at the beginning of last year, 2024. It still feels like this year. It's a weird time at the moment in January. But one of my goals was to complete that game because I'd never ever completed it. It's one of my favorite Final Fantasy, and after playing it for the channel, it has cemented it as one of my favorite Final Fantasies ever. That Final Fantasy XII is probably in my top 5 favorite games that I have ever played right here on YouTube. I should do a top 5 favourite series that I've done on the channel. That could be interesting, because I've played a lot of games. I've got over 740 videos on the channel now. But yeah, as you can see from my tattoo of Cloud here, where is he? There he is. There's our spiky hair boy. I'm a big Final Fantasy VII fan, but Final Fantasy XII is one of those games that I loved and I really wanted to complete, and I wanted to put a unique twist on the playthrough, as I have the original guidebook for the original game, which we played on the original hardware, original, and I wanted to complete it using the guidebook, so anyone watching the videos could almost use it as a guide if they're playing the original. Soundtrack, game design, the environment design, graphics, characters, the combat system, I just loved Final Fantasy XII. Any chance I got to play it, even if it was just leveling up in that game, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I could see why you wouldn't like Final Fantasy XII, because it's a very passive game to play. You kind of throw everything at a wall and hope the enemies get destroyed. But building the tactics, I loved the characters so much. I loved the story so much. It was cool using the actual guidebook, which I have had for decades now. And it's just one of my favourite playthroughs that I've ever done on the channel. If you are interested in seeing it, it's not the Zodiac Age as well, it's the original Final Fantasy XII. If you want to see the original Final Fantasy XII, then definitely check it out. That brings us neatly to my next playthrough that I did. Now, obviously this channel is sort of built on the foundation, leaning on the back of sort of nostalgia, video game nostalgia, late 90s, early 2000s, nostalgia. Have I said the word nostalgia enough times? But in order to reinforce that nostalgia, I had an amazing idea, and I have been doing this, and it's going to be an ongoing series still into the future. If you don't know what I'm talking about right now, I have had the privilege of playing PlayStation Magazine, PlayStation 1 demo discs right here on the channel for you guys. The actual discs, I collected a bunch of them. I went on eBay and just bought like 40 of them or something like that, and I wanted to do a series playing the demo discs from the perspective of if I'd bought the magazine that month, trying out the demos, trying out a bunch of games I'd never played before, playing demos for games that I'd played loads and loads. Not to mention, playing some of the demo discs that I actually owned back in the day. Like, the first one I played was Spider-Man, and it took me right back, hearing just the menu music alone took me right back to 1998, 1999, 2000, that kind of era. Just hearing the menu music for the demo disc was so good. Then selecting the game, getting into the demo, playing the demo, getting to the end, whether it was like you have to complete the level or it's timed out because it's at a certain time you get to play it, jumping right back into the menu. Then checking out some of the, because there was playable demos, and then there is like viewable demos, like videos. And I wanted to give you guys the experience of what it's like firing up a PlayStation 1 demo, checking out all the demos on it, checking out the videos, and specifically checking out the Net Euros, which was the development kit where people had made their own games and then they put them on the demo discs, which is awesome. I really wanted to give you guys the genuine experience of playing a demo disc from my childhood, from the early 2000s, from PlayStation's official magazine, which was my main source of knowing about games. Nowadays, we've got the internet, we got Reddit, we got forums, we got like Instagram, we got YouTube, which we're on right now, like to learn about games, to see about games, to research them. We know about developers and we know about like producers and things are like that. But back in the day, like, we couldn't get this knowledge. Our gateway into that was magazines. Like magazines like Nintendo Power, that kind of thing. For me growing up, the official PlayStation magazine was my gateway into most of the games that I love and have already played and have yet to play on the channel. So that series means so so much to me. I have so many videos of that. I've got 40 some demo videos of that. Please check out some of those. You don't have to check out everyone because not every demo disc is for everyone, but I am so proud of that series, and it's still ongoing. It's still going to be an ongoing series that I'm going to do because I don't know if you noticed that, but something just fell off my wall. I'll show you what it is. It's this. Why are you falling off? Why are you interrupting my video? So if anybody watched my Legend of Zelda playthrough a couple of years ago now, my controller was dying. The stick drift is unbelievable. The buttons are stopped working. So basically, I had it as a wall display up on the wall there, and it decided, now of all times, while I'm recording a video, to fall off the wall. To be fair, it's only held on with like a couple of like command strips, so it's probably my bad. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, PlayStation 1 demos, the authentic experience. Check any of them out below. Normally, they're done by a single game followed by a video, so just check out the playlist. I have done so many of those videos. There's bound to be something you like on there. Plus, if you're my age, come closer, come closer. If you're my age, tell me that menu music. Tell me it doesn't make you tingle with nostalgia. Anyway, moving on into the month of May. It's gonna be May. In May, we jumped into a classic from the PlayStation 1 era. Oh my god, everybody knew about this game back in the day. It's so good. In a time where we got so many movie tie-in video games, this one was like head and shoulders above. It was so good. I am, in fact, obviously talking about Toy Story 2 for the PlayStation 1. Again, if you want to know my thoughts on all of these games that I'm talking about, watch the series because I go into depth with how much I love or don't like the games, mostly love. Check out those series if you want to know my actual feelings on them. But to summarize, what a game. I had a blast with that game. I love the level design. I love the cutscenes ripped straight from Toy Story 2. It's such a legendary game. There's nothing more I could say about it that hasn't already been said a million times by a million different people. I did also 100% that game, so you should definitely check it out. It's a series I'm super proud of. It's a game I love very, very much. Definitely check it out. Super fun game to play last year. Once that was done, I wanted to move away from a game that I was familiar with to a game that I'd never played before and was a glaring omission in my catalogue of games that I grew up playing. The game in question is Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. Everyone who is anyone who is everyone told me this is a bona fide classic for the PlayStation 2. And it is a game I never, ever got round to playing. Not once. Never owned it. Never rented it. Never, like, I saw it. It was in all the gaming magazines and all my friends used to talk about it. I say all my friends. I was a lonely boy. But all the people used to talk about it. And now I'm older. It's seen as one of those pinnacles, those classic PlayStation 2 games. Never got around to playing it. Now was the time. So I've dived in head first into that game and had an absolute blast with it. Granted, some of the mechanics are a little bit unresponsive in the game, but I think it really makes up for any shortcomings in style, in fun factor, in gameplay. The dialogue's funny, the bosses are funny. It's so creative with its level design. It looks gorgeous. It's a beautiful looking game. I really, really enjoyed playing it, and it was really cool to kind of tick that off my list because it's a game that I'd never ever played, and what a game to have missed. Definitely check out my videos on Sly Cooper or Sly Raccoon and the Thievius Raccoonus, because every time I'm doing something, you're seeing my first time reaction to that level, to that boss, to that moment, to that cutscene. It's my first time reaction to it because it's the first time I ever played it, and moments like that are so rare when you're going back to games like that, and I'm super grateful to be able to have moments like that. Which brings us ever so neatly to September. September was a big one for us, folks. It was a big one because this year I did it again. A game I'd never played, but is not even considered like a sleeper classic, like say like Sly Cooper is. It's kind of like, it's a classic, but not compared to your Crash Bandicoots. But this game, this game is considered one of the greatest game series of all time. It's considered one of the greatest platformers of all time, one of the greatest mascots in video gaming history. And yet I had never, ever played it. Not even a demo. The game I'm referring to is Spyro the Dragon. You did hear right. I never played that game. It's nuts. To a lot of people, it feels like, what do you mean you've never played Crash Bandicoot? If somebody said to me, and they were my age, yeah, I never really played Crash Bandicoot, Crash 2, Crash 3, Crash 1, never played them, never played Crash Team Racing, I'd be like, no, that's physically impossible. Well, to a lot of people, the fact that I had not played Spyro the Dragon is insanity to them, apparently. And you can see why Spyro is a little bit of a legend, isn't he? He's in all the magazines. He was the big boy, you know. It was innovative, it's fun, it still feels great to play now. So that's one I really needed to tick off the list, because that was like a shadow hanging over my retro game credentials. And oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did, because Spyro the Dragon, it had a lot of high hopes to live to. I had a lot of expectations for this game, and I gotta say, it really lived up to them, because what a game Spyro the Dragon is. It is so good. I know this is old news to you who've probably already played the game and completed it multiple times, but don't forget, me a noob to this game. I can really see why it's considered a stone cold classic, because it really is. The way it feels, the level design is awesome, the platforming is awesome, the enemies look great, the graphics are wonderful, the soundtrack is done by Stuart Copeland, who's one of my favourite musicians. If you don't know who he is, he's the drummer for The Police. Not to mention, he's a massive, amazing, orchestral composer. Such a cool dude, mad as a box of frogs, but a really great musician. I love The Police, by the way. Really great musician, and he did the whole soundtrack for Spyro, and it blew my mind when I found out. Very cool. An absolutely amazing game. There's nothing I can't say about it that hasn't already been said and is thoroughly deserved. That game really is one of the greatest PlayStation 1 games of all time. Now, don't get me wrong, it is frustrating, but ultimately, the reward for getting over that frustration, the sense of satisfaction of completing a level, collecting everything in the level and getting the whole thing and getting back to the hub world, so good. Spyro the Dragon, again, check it out in the description below. All my reactions to that game are absolutely live, 100%. Never played that game before, so everything you're seeing is my first time reaction. Definitely check it out, I'm super proud of it. So in that same month, I did also play a game that is one of my all-time favourite games. It's probably my third favourite game of all time. Maybe. Yeah, no, let's say that. So my two favourite games are Final Fantasy VII, the original, although I do really like the remake that I've played on the channel, you should check it out, and Persona 5. Persona 5 probably being my all-time favourite game, because no game has even come close to the emotions that I had playing that game. But this game that I played, having played two games that I was unfamiliar with Sly Cooper and with Spyro the Dragon, I wanted to play something that I am so familiar with, know every inch of, and adore every little bit of. I wanted to play one of my all-time favourite games. I am, of course, talking about the original Silent Hill 2. So the series was part me wanting to just play one of my all-time favourite games for the channel and have that recorded forever, but also part of it was to celebrate the remake of Silent Hill 2 coming out that same sort of week. By the way, I've completed the remake to Silent Hill 2, and while it doesn't really hold a candle to the original for me, pretty damn good. I won't say much more on that, because I want to do a separate video on that, because I think it warrants it. It's one of my favourite games of all time. But I got the chance to play Silent Hill 2 on the channel this year, and here's some general thoughts on it. First of all, I loved playing it. Every second, every inch. I always get absorbed into that game, into the characters, into the world, into the narrative. One of the greatest plot twists in video game history. I would argue the greatest plot twist in video game history, which if you don't know, I'm obviously not going to say it because obviously the remake is out now and you may not have played the original. But what I will say is that I absorbed myself into that game and loved every second of playing it. James Sunderland, while it being probably quite a morally wrong thing to say, is one of my favorite protagonists in video game history because he's so interesting, and the way the world is shaped around him and the way he has shaped the world in his mind and the way Silent Hill has morphed itself to his desires is such an interesting concept. And it just proves that even though James is quite a pedestrian character, James Sunderland is just a nobody guy, he's just a nothing guy. The thing that happens, the thing that he partook in, and the darkness that surrounds the decision that he made makes for one of the most interesting, atmospheric, wonderful, terrifying, difficult games I've ever played. Now, I'm clouded by rose-tinted glasses. I adore that game. I played it with my missus. I played it with my brother. I can see myself in time playing that game. So I'm probably blinded by nostalgia, and it's probably not as good as maybe you think the remake is, excuse me. Because the remake is probably head and shoulders above the original in certain aspects. But I really still think it's worth revisiting the original just to get the sense of what they were going for, man. Now, truth be told, that series did not do as well on the channel in terms of numbers or whatever. I don't care about any of that. I care about community. I care about sharing my passion for nostalgic games and for retro gaming and stuff. Like, that's what this channel's for. It's more for me to spread my passion for these kind of games. And yeah, it didn't do as well, that series. But I don't really care because it's one of my all-time favorite games. I got to play it for YouTube, which is, for me, so awesome, and I absolutely adored playing that for the channel. If you do want to check it out, I'd be super grateful because I love that game so much. Now, moving on to a big thing that we did this year. As you may or may not know, I am a massive fan and a massive player of Dungeons and Dragons, of D&D. I have a D20 tattooed on my hand with the 20 facing up because I'm not mental. I play D&D 2 to 3 times a week. I have been playing it for the past 5 years as a player, but mostly I've been playing it as a dungeon master. And my passion for D&D has made me want to do some D&D content. And this was the year for it. Or last year was the year for it, because now we're in 2025. I wanted to do something unique, something different, something that I don't think has been done before. Lots of people have played D&D games on YouTube, and don't get me wrong, that's something I do want to do with the channel at some point, but that's just pie in the sky thinking at the moment. I wanted to throw out a piece of D&D content, but do something very, very different. I am, of course, talking about my D&D solo adventure series right here called Tales from the Crypt. It is a solo D&D adventure using the Wolves of Langston solo D&D module from Obvious Mimic, which you should definitely check out. I'll leave a link in the description below to that if you're interested in solo D&D or anything that Obvious Mimic have done. But I wanted to do a solo D&D adventure, but I wanted to tell it as if I was the DM reciting it and playing the characters and not just playing my character and making the decisions. But at the same time, I'm a big fan of Ray William Johnson, who's been on YouTube forever now, and I've been watching him forever. But I love his crime series and the art that he throws up on the screen, and I kind of wanted to, my love for those videos and my love for D&D, and kind of put them together and just see what happens. The result is me playing a Soul Knife rogue character named Gabriel Logan, named after the lead character in Siphon Filter, which I've played on the channel. You should check that out as well. In a solo Dungeons and Dragons adventure. It came to me when I actually saw it advertised to me on social media, because that's where everything's advertised now. and I saw this module, and while people have done reviews on it and things like that, I don't think anybody has done what myself and Hannah, my missus, who is part of the project, have done. I think what we've done is quite unique. If you are into Dungeons and Dragons at all, please check it out. It's something weird, it's something unique, it's something I am passionate about, and more episodes are on the way. I do have big plans for D&D content on the channel moving forward, maybe even a separate channel for D&D, but who knows. Until then, check out Tales from the Crypt. It'll be the first link in the description below because I'm super proud of it, and it's something I really want to put a lot of passion into. It's very much a passion project for me. Plus, let's play a little game. Tales from the Crypt, the name is a reference to something else that has a title similar to that. I'm not going to say what it is. If you know what Tales from the Crypt is actually a reference to, leave it in the description below and I'll give you a thumbs up and I'll tell you you're a good boy. Moving on from that into December, into my last 2 games and the game I am currently playing on the channel. Started off December strong by playing the Power Rangers movie video game tie-in for the Sega Mega Drive, or Sega Genesis if you are in fact American. This is a game that nobody talks about. It's never in any top 10 lists. It's never even spoke about when you're talking about Power Rangers games, for goodness sake. But this was such a massive game for me when I was a kid. Side-scrolling beat-em-up game based on the Power Rangers, really loosely based on the movie. Sometimes it's based on some of the more sort of famous episodes from the series, like the Sentinel episode and stuff like that. You get to fight Goldar. It's a good time. It's a really solid side-scrolling beat-em-up game. If a bit repetitive here and there, but that's only with my newer eyes on. When I was a kid, I thought this game was the absolute bomb. Really enjoyed playing that on the channel. I got some really good feedback playing that. I do want to play more Sega Mega Drive / Genesis games on the channel. If there's any Genesis games, Sega Mega Drive games you want to see me play on the channel, then please leave it in the description below. In the description. No, don't go there. Go into the comments below instead. It's probably the smarter way to do it. Come on, James, you've been a YouTuber for 6 years now. You should know the difference between the description and the comments section. My God. Anyway, the Power Rangers movie video game tie-in. Not to be confused with the one that was on the Super Nintendo, which is a totally different game, and apparently really, really good, but I've not played that one. I played the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis version of it. Check it out in the description. Super proud of that series. It's only 3 videos long. It's quite snacky, quite bitey. Really fun. Such a great looking... It's a great looking game. Like, the actual sprite animation looks amazing on that game. It's aged really well. So moving on, to tie in with the fact that the whole studio has changed round, not only that, but my setup has changed. I'm not necessarily playing on original hardware anymore because I want the videos to look more crisp, more clean. I want them to visually look nice. So I've been experimenting with, without giving too much away on how obviously I'm doing it, playing games on my laptop. I recently acquired a new laptop. Shout out to my friend Josh, who I play Dungeons and Dragons with. And I've been playing some retro games and classic games on there and experimenting with recording it. As part of this, I wanted to revisit a game that I know didn't look great when I first played it, and now looks really good. The game in question here is Sonic Adventure for the Sega Dreamcast. Or, you know, the Nintendo GameCube, whatever. Sonic Adventure is one of my all-time favourite games. It's in my top 10. Is it the greatest game in the world? No. Do I love it like it's one of the greatest games in the world? Yes. But I wanted to revisit that game because I talk about it in the video. So if you want to check it out in the description below. But I wanted to revisit that game with the new way I'm playing games on my laptop as opposed to playing from the original hardware, which was from the Nintendo GameCube. If you go back and watch my original footage of Sonic Adventure, it's rough around the edges. I'm still finding my feet with this whole YouTube thing and how it works and how to record. I'm not massively technically savvy. I'm throwing things at a wall and seeing what sticks. And the original footage doesn't look great from the capture card. It doesn't look great. I'm willing to admit that because I want to evolve and grow. The contrast is super bright. Some of the snow levels are brutal. brutal to watch. Brutal. So I wanted to revisit it, and I played the entirety of Sonic's story in Sonic Adventure. Now, granted, it's a meaty video, a good 2 hours and 40 minutes, but you can have it on in the background while you're potting around doing stuff. I wanted to revisit it. I think that video looks really, really nice. I'm super proud of the way it looks. And it was my first step into playing games from my laptop and my new setup here. Definitely check that out. Compare it with the old videos. You'll know exactly what I mean. Like, you can also compare it with like my old Super Mario 64 playthrough, which was my first playthrough on the channel 6 years ago now. You'll see what I mean. The videos going forward are going to look so much nicer, so much crisper, so much more lovely. You can see that with the Power Rangers playthrough. You can see that with the Sonic Adventure playthrough, where I play the whole of Sonic's part of the adventure all the way through. And you can see it with the next series I'm about to speak about. So to close out 2024, I wanted to play a game that nobody talks about at all, and it's with the new setup and everything like that. So I thought, new setup, I'm going to play a new game, make it look super nice. This is all really, really good. And I want to choose a game that nobody talks about from the PlayStation 1. Nobody talks about it. I really think it's a classic, and it stands alongside some of the classics of that era, but it kind of got lost in the shuffle, and it's such an awesome game. The game I'm obviously talking about is Jackie Chan Stuntmaster for the PlayStation 1. Now, we ended the year playing this game, and we're actually still currently playing it right now, so you should check it out now. The next video in that series will be coming out after this one. Now, as of time of recording this, I'm still playing that. That's my current series on the channel. So check it out in the description below. Leave me a subscription, hit subscribe, because that video series is still happening. Yeah, so Jackie Chan Stuntmaster is my current series on the channel. I'm super proud of how that's going. I've had some lovely interaction on that. Shout out to anyone who's left a lovely comment on one of those videos. I love this game. I'm having a blast with it, and nobody talks about it. So go and watch those videos. Leave like comments on those videos. Let's get people talking about that game again, because it is so awesome, it's so fun, and it's actually voiced by Jackie Chan. Like I said, that's my current playthrough on the channel, so if you do want to check it out in the description below. It'll be one of the top links because it's the current playthrough. I don't really know what I'm going to play next after I play Jackie Chan though, so if you guys got any suggestions of what you want to see from like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Sega Mega Drive / Genesis, I say that every time, even like classic Super Nintendo stuff, if you want to see games on this channel, leave me recommendations in the comment section below. Nearly said description below again. Come on, James. That goes for any video. If you want to see games on this channel, if you want to make suggestions as to what you want to see me play on this channel, leave it in the comments, man. I would love to play some of your suggestions. A lot of them are games. I'm going to choose my own games anyway, because this, it's my channel, it's my hobby, it's what I want to do. But if you got suggestions for games and I just go, oh, that's a good suggestion, yeah, let's play that next, leave it in the comments, man. I would love to take suggestions from you guys. And there you have it. There it is. The end of 2024. It was an up and down year for me, a real up and down year. It was, not to bring the tone down too much, but it was the year I lost my mother, which is, sad, and, I miss her. It was the year of, I went to the Download Festival, which was really fun. I played a lot of great D&D. I was very, very ill and in hospital quite a bit at the beginning of the year. We had great success on the channel. We launched Tales from the Crypt, which is my D&D series, which I love, I'm so passionate about. So it's a year of really high ups and really low downs. But all in all, I sit here before you now, here on YouTube, in my room. I have the ability, the capacity, I have the time and the effort to give to a YouTube channel. And do not think that I'm not grateful to be able to do this. It is an absolute privilege to be able to do this. All I want to do is follow in the footsteps and get a little bit of the piece of the pie here on YouTube from my heroes that I watched when I was watching YouTube from 10-something years ago. People like Markiplier, people like Jacksepticeye, Daz Games. These guys are, they're hugely influential on why I want to do this. And potentially want to do this for a living, but nothing's certain. For now, I just want to build a community and share my passion for retro games with anyone who is willing to listen. So, 2025, what's happening? What's going to go on? Let me tell you what's going to go on. Probably more of the same. The thing is with retro gaming, it is a deep well of brilliant games and not so brilliant games, and the early parts of 3D and the best 2D graphics ever, and there's so much to explore with retro gaming. There's so many games I have not played in my life. There's so many games I've played and not completed. There's so many games I've played a million times that I want to replay for you guys. It's a never-ending well. I am so passionate about retro gaming and classic gaming, especially from the 90s and the 2000s, the early 2000s. The PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2, those were my consoles growing up. Those were my jams. My favourite games are on those consoles. So going into 2025, it's going to be more nostalgia, more great games, more fun, more stupid my big dumb face, and hopefully more interaction from you guys. I want to grow my community. I want to get bigger than ever. I want to get as big as I can get here on YouTube. That's my plan. I just want to throw out content. I make 3 videos a week and I do not miss. I make 3 videos a week without fail. Sometimes to the detriment of my own health, to the detriment of spending time with my family and my friends, because it's really important to me to be consistent right here on YouTube. I'm going to come out and say it. I would really love for this to be my job. If it was, I would throw out a video every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. 5 videos a week you'd get from me. That's what I want to do. That would be my goal. If I could go full-time with this, I would be not only honoured and privileged, and I would love that, and I realise this is a pie-in-the-sky sort of ambition, but I would go full-time, and I mean full-time. You'd get a video every day of the working week, and then I'd have Saturday and Sunday off. That would include D&D content, that would include top 10 lists, that would include maybe even streams. That is something I would genuinely love to do. I'd love to go full-time with this. If you want to help me go full-time with this, there is something you can do, and you know what you need to do because you hear it from every other YouTuber. But if you're as passionate as I am, and you've enjoyed any of my content so far, then just leave me a subscribe, leave me a like, leave me a comment. It helps. It's free to do. And I would be so grateful if you did. If I could go full-time with this, that's honestly a dream come true for me. Look, regardless if that happens or not, which is highly unlikely, I know this, I am still going to make content here on YouTube for you guys, for myself, because as well as being passionate about retro games and classic games, I also love doing this YouTube thing. I love recording videos, I love making thumbnails, I love editing. I enjoy the process of like having a YouTube channel. I love recording videos. I love the whole process of it. I love having playlists with like with thumbnails that all look nice in a row, with me on the left and the right and the left and the right on each different sort of thumbnail, which you'll notice if you've been on my channel. I love the end result. I'm a big end result guy, and I love having big playlists of full games that I've played. I love the way my YouTube channel looks. I have all new artwork up at the moment that's indicative of like classic gaming and retro gaming. So regardless if I become a YouTuber full-time or not, I'm still going to make videos because, man, I really love doing this. Whew, that was a lot. Anyway, that's going to do it from me. I have rambled on enough. I would just like to say Happy New Year to everyone who's supported me. Anybody who's watched the channel in passing, anyone who's left me a like, a comment, a share, given me feedback, thank you so much for any and every bit of support you've given me over the past year. And if you go into the future giving me support, it is so welcome. I'm so humbled. Thank you so much. I really hope you have an amazing 2025. I'm going to do everything in my power to make this channel the best it can be in 2025. I really hope you'll join me for this journey. Man, sky's the limit for us. We could go anywhere, play anything. As long as we're doing it together as a community, that's all I care about. So thank you so much for joining me. Bring on 2025. There's still so many awesome games that I want to play. We're going to go head first into it. All new setup, all new me. New year, new me. No, I hate that phrase. Anyway, throw that out the window. I have rambled and kept your time long enough. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. I adore and love you guys so much. If you want to check out more classic gaming content from myself here at Millennial Gamer, click on one of the links in the description or click one of the links at the end of this video. But more importantly, remember to always take it easy.